a lot of talk about leadership today, and just for my own benefit, I wondered how many of you in the room are actually right now business owners and leaders in your own organizations. Could you give me a quick show of hands? Fantastic. And then how many of you currently manage teams or would say that you lead your teams right now? Okay, so about half of you that were leaders in your space are currently running teams. It's interesting what our perception of running teams is. I'm just going to check, is these on? Yeah. I don't want to stand behind there the whole time. So if you think back to what a leader is and where leadership comes from, when I was a child, I'd go shopping with my mom. Maybe some of you are parents, so you can resonate with this. And your child might run off in the supermarket. And you say to them when you walk in, if you get lost, find somebody with a t-shirt that looks like a member of staff, and they're going to find you and bring you back to me, and then you'll be safe. The same thing happens when we go to school. If you are scared, if you get frightened, if something happens that makes you upset in school, go to the teacher. Then we go to employment, and if you're very lucky, you get told to go to your boss if you have any concerns or problems. Not all bosses are great, so some of us have had bosses who told us to go away and just do the task. But if you're lucky, you have a great boss who supports you and makes you feel good. But that was during normal times. Right now is not normal times. We've had a conversation on the table I'm part of today about the challenges in the world and in the US in particular. We've got challenges that have been discussed on this stage around AI and technology and what that means for us as leaders. Some of you right now today may be thinking about your businesses and wondering, will my business be here in 12 months? And that's really a painful thing to think about. Some of your staff are looking to you to lead and guide them, and right now, you don't have all the answers. And as leaders, we're told that we need to be able to direct our teams, to show them the way forward, to give them the great vision and that they will follow. But what do we do when that vision is challenged by circumstances beyond our control? AI is making us feel like we have no control, but we still need to empower our teams to know that we're here for them, that we support them, and that we are going to find a way together. Even if, as the business owner right now, you actually don't have a clue what you're doing. And that's okay too, okay? Most entrepreneurs, most business leaders have a period in time, at least sometimes more than once a week, okay? But you'll have a period of time where you don't have the answer, but you believe you should because you were always told that the boss knows, the person above you knows best. But you are that person now. You're the person who's meant to know best. So where do you go and what do you do? Thankfully, you get to come to places like this and be among incredible peer group. And these people in this room today are going to be able to give you insights and share their wisdom with you. But beyond that, what do? Maybe you need some new skills. Maybe you need to look at yourself as a leader and realize that what you did before no longer serves you. For me, being a leader of the future is about connecting with humanity, connecting with our people, inspiring them to be better and do better by caring about them as human beings, which has been discussed by some of the speakers today. You can't lead the way you always led. You have to lead differently. But have your team and your skills and your leaders in your organizations got that skill set? Do they know how to connect on a human level and talk to people from vulnerability? I think there's a big gap between here and here, and there has to be a different way to be able to attain that. And that's what I'm going to share with you today. Some insights on what I think is missing, some of the solutions that my team and I have pulled together. But most importantly, I want you to ask yourself some questions around your leadership style, the leadership style of your managers, and how you can do differently and better in the future. Okay, so it worked. That's good news after the challenges of some of the guys have had today. So I'm Michelle Almeida. I'm a multi-award winner. I'm a business owner. I'm here today as my business coach role, which is now 4 years old this year. But I'm also an entrepreneur and property investor, and I have a green tech business that does energy brokerage. So when I talk about business, I'm talking about it from multiple different avenues, and I work with clients across multiple sectors in lots of locations. I'm not coming at this from one viewpoint. I'm coming at this from a place of knowledge. So some people don't like change. And whether you like Elon Musk or not, I know he's controversial, okay, you can't hide from the fact that the guy has had some incredible success in his life. And he says if we don't change, that we could lead ourselves to disaster. And for many businesses right now who are sitting on the fence and saying, AI is not for me, I'm okay, pal, you're about to become Blockbuster, okay? It's not gonna work. So we have to embrace change, but as leaders, we need to understand that our teams, our people, they're afraid of change too. And we have to show them there's a different way and that we're gonna support them through this period of change and challenge. AI and automation are reshaping roles. We've touched on already the incredible example we just had, how quickly a computer can program something compared to a human being. A friend of mine recently tried to build a website using AI and built it in minutes. Now, it may not be the best website in the world, but it was done. And sometimes done is better than not started, okay? But emotional intelligence and trust are becoming a critical part of us being leaders. The speed of change is incredible, and our ability to adapt and move and pivot is essential. But we cannot ever lose the importance that humanity and human beings in our operations bring to us and to our clients. We actually need all three: technology, humans, and incredible leadership and leaders. I'm a bit of a country fan, and I love this one from Dolly Parton, and it fits so well with some of my other coaching programs as well. If your actions create a legacy that inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, then you are an excellent leader. How many of you could say that that is true of you? Oh, I can see some hands. Amazing, guys. I love this room, okay? And it's why authenticity is now a non-negotiable. You know, we talked about the AI marketing, and you could put a social media post out and you wrote it using chat, okay? We've all done it, don't lie, sometimes we're busy, okay? But you can tell the person who wrote it and who rewrote it and who cared about the language and the person who went on chat and copied and pasted. You know the difference. It's not authentic when it's duplicated from there. People know, whether it be your teams or your clients, they're aware. AI can mimic our actions but cannot replace our authenticity. And a leader of the future needs to be able to embrace who they are, know who they are, and not be afraid to be vulnerable and honest with their teams. People crave connection, whether that be our clients or our teams. And it's no longer a nice to have. You need to anchor your values on being an authentic, trustworthy, incredible business. And by doing that, you'll buy their loyalty and they'll follow you and stay loyal throughout this transition. And it's not just my opinion, although I love my own opinion, it's got to be said, okay? Deloitte tells us in a recent survey, 23% of organizations don't believe that they're ready. But more importantly, 97% of the respondents said that leading with empathy is critical, yet fewer than half of their employees said their managers do. So there's a huge skill gap between what we say we're going to do and what we're actually doing in our organizations today. And that starts with you. If you are the founder of your company or a leader in your company, are you putting those actions out there? Are you currently today living by authentic values? Because as we already know, from here to here, we also right now are having our teams follow us. Your children copy you, your staff copy you, the people around you copy you. So if you're not being authentic, then that is why we're seeing this kind of statistic within our organizations. We have to do better. AI is going to make us more streamlined. It's going to make us quicker. It's going to make us more money, let's hope. But, you know, at the end of the day, it can't replace us. We created a 5-step leadership program called the Pinnacle Leadership Model. And the reason we did that is because we genuinely believe right now our human skills are what's missing in our businesses. It's not the technology. The technology's coming. It's going to go way ahead of us. But our ability to connect with who we are, that has been lost for many people. I work with lots of business owners who tell me they don't remember the last time they thought about what they were trying to create in their business. They were so busy doing the day-to-day, they lost perspective. So being self-aware, understanding your goals, creating something that aligns with your life and doesn't take over your life is a critical part of this journey. Well, I love AI. I use it. We're actually currently putting it into our tech business. But what I would say is, authenticity, AI, you get amplified results. It doesn't replace anything, but it does have a place. Barack talked about we are the change that we seek. And as I've already touched on, the behavior in your companies is based on yours. So if you want something to change, you need to be willing to change too. 3 core shifts that perhaps you need to make that are maybe going to be uncomfortable for some of you, okay? Historically, as a leader, certainly in an autocratic business, you would say, I must have all the answers. A future leader needs to say, I lead through questions and learning. You need to be curious. You need to want to ask your team and your people and your clients the questions that you've been avoiding because you don't have all the answers. Instead of always showing strength, and this was a tough one for me until a few years ago, but you need to lead through emotional intelligence and aligned actions. Tell your teams you don't have the answer if you don't have it. Share with your senior teams, perhaps, that actually right now you're a bit unsure, you're a little bit fearful, because what's the worst that can happen? They actually might help you with some of the solutions. Don't think you need to be the powerhouse that has it all figured. Be vulnerable enough to trust in the people you've hired, to share your fears and know that they're going to support you back. And the big one around control. Previously, you would feel that perhaps you need to control everything. But now, as a future leader, I want you to consider something different. I want you to create the movement and the momentum within your organization around clarity and accountability. When you set the destination, a bit like the GPS, but let's hope this one's been updated, okay? You should get to the end goal as long as you're all aligned and you move together. Previously, we rated IQ. As business owners, if you had a degree and you were smart, great, you were hired. But that's not enough now, because AI has way more IQ than anyone in the room. So now we need to look for IQ, we need to look for emotional intelligence, we need to look at people's personality skills, we need to build on humanity, not on a hierarchy. And we need to be looking to elevate our people so that they can be the best versions of themselves, and we get to benefit from that as leaders in our companies too. So what is leadership? It's a great question, and it's ever evolving. My current one that I like as an answer is this one here. It's the ability to elevate human potential, create meaningful impact, and build trust at scale. In a world where technology can replicate tasks, but not authenticity, vision, or emotional resonance. Yes, it has a place. Yes, it's important. But so is our leadership style, the people we work with, and what we're here to do. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. Nelson Mandela used that many times in many speeches. And for me, yes, today is fearful. We can choose to sit in fear, do nothing, and our companies can diminish. Or we can choose to learn, to grow, to put ourselves forward, to want to do better, to empower our people, and to be more in our businesses and our country. We must step forward into this new era with a new passion, a new commitment, and an energy beyond anything we've had before, because we can't keep up with the pace unless we're excited by what it brings. I'd like you to write these 2 questions down for yourself, and perhaps you can talk about it during the day today, or you can catch me, I'll be here most of the evening. So right now today, which belief about leadership or AI might be limiting you? There will be something that you've decided is fact, whether it's fact or fiction is another conversation, but right now today it's limiting you and potentially your business. And if you could shift one belief to lead more authentically, what would it be? These are questions I'm putting to my clients. These are things that were discussed within my masterminds. It's part of our conversation on a regular basis, because for us to lead better, to do better, we have to be willing to ask ourselves the tough questions. I'm going to share one of my clients' stories with you, not because I think it necessarily resonates with some of your businesses in the room, but because her journey is a journey that we're all on. So I worked with this company in Scotland. They had a number of retail shops and an online business. But they started from nothing. And the owner of this company is an incredible mom to 3 kids, now 4, because during the time she's had an extra baby. And she believed she was just a small business, and she was operating like a single unit business, the way she always had, working the way she always had, and she had lost connection from the business and also from her family. And the very first question I said to her was, how do you want to live your life? And she didn't know. And I think maybe that would be true for some of you in the room too. Because actually, over time, she'd been going 13 years. Her business had taken over her life. She'd grown her kids to a point that she was taking them to fashion shows. She was buying things with them. They were used to jumping on planes. But what time did they have as a family? When did she connect with her husband and her kids? When did she get time to put the things that are important to her ahead? She said she worked for them, but she never saw them. Does that resonate for some of you? So instead, we took her business. We looked at the model. We decided that things needed to change. We put in new internal processes. We put in some automation. We also looked at her company structures, her team. We changed how the whole thing operated. And she's just come back from a 6-week holiday, and the company continued to thrive, and the sales continued to rise, and her like-for-like is in excess of 15% on the year to date, which for a retail business in the UK right now is phenomenal. One of the things that she's done, and for those of you living in Dubai will be nice to know, they've soft launched in Dubai this summer, and they're properly launching in Dubai next year, so their fashion will become readily available to you. We've opened up new stores, and we continue to change. But it was done because we changed her mentality from thinking she was a single business owner who just did what she did to start to be an operator who ran her company. We looked at mindset, we put in some metrics, we built some momentum and built new habits in our organization. So instead of every team member, there being nearly 40, sending her a text on a Saturday morning to say they'd been out last night and they weren't coming to work tomorrow, instead of that, she never speaks to them now and they've got their direct line management. Simple changes that needed to be put in place for her to embrace a business of intent. A couple of other organizations I've worked with. So Chica works in a nonprofit, and nonprofits, I think many of you will be familiar, they generally rely on foundation money and funding. And I said to him, it's got to change. You need to be a company that trades and makes money and does good work, not a company who does good work and puts your hand out asking for something from somebody else. So we changed his model. He started to get paid by corporations for some of the work he did. He also has expanded into other locations, and he's taken over 50 children who have been disconnected from employment, who were thrown out of school and forgotten, onto trips around the world to explore new cultures and open their minds to possibilities they believed were far beyond their imagination. Dr. Jennifer Williams, she created a great product, but she was not a salesperson. She believed that selling was something other people did. She was an academic. Some of you are academics, I know. Okay? She was a great product person, but she didn't want to be the face of her business. She'd even trademarked something she'd created, but for what purpose if no one ever saw it on the shelf? So for her, we changed her mindset. We made her realize that being the best kept secret would never give her the outcomes that she wants. She linked her profits to a charity, and that charity, the ability to feel good, was the reason she was willing to step forward and sell. So all of this is based on owners and founders deciding what matters to them, finding their purpose, as many of you discussed today. Being here and sharing with you is my purpose. I believe every single person can have a business if it's truly what they want, but they must be willing to take the action, to step forward, to be uncomfortable, to sometimes fail, get back up and say, not today. You have to be willing to be vulnerable and be open to the power of opportunity and possibility, and say yes when the team here sends a message saying, do you want to stand on our stage? Okay. So one of the things I created specifically for this event was based on the fact that I currently have 2 different ways clients work with me. One is a 12-month group coaching program, and one is one-to-one, but one-to-one is full. So I've created the Pinnacle Icon Elite Fellowship, a 6-month program that includes one-to-one sessions with myself and elite trainers who work with highlight people such as Tony Robbins around the world. You get masterminds and also an immersive leadership journey if you choose to come on this journey with us. But this is not for everybody. I am a fierce coach, okay? So I expect people to take action. If you commit to me, I commit to you. But if you turn up half-hearted, you won't belong. So this package is going to allow you to make decisions based on data and structured learning. It's going to give you the opportunity to gain from others in the community through networking and relationships. And we're going to provide mentorship and community through our app, like an app, okay? And we're going to work on your emotional intelligence and development. We need you to be the best version of you so you can take those skills, that learning, and go back to your companies to make them the best versions of them. We want you to have more revenue and profit and freedom, but we also want you to care. The immersives that we're running next year, one will be in the spring in Caribbean, it will be in Europe in the summer, probably in Venice, and in Dubai next autumn. You get to choose one of these immersives to attend if it's something you feel like you would be interested in. I'm here to have the conversation. What I would say, though, is for some of you, maybe you've thought about coaches before. There's plenty in the room, and you can speak to us all, okay? But maybe you never took the step. It might be that you didn't take that step because you're afraid to be challenged, or you don't think it's for you. But as Eleanor Roosevelt once said, you gain strength and courage and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look at fear in the face. You must do the thing you think you cannot do. So if right now you think, I'd love to be coached, but it's not for me, or the time's not right, or maybe one day, what I would say is, you must do the thing you think you cannot do. We put this package together, but obviously the guys here spoke to me and said, we need a deal, it's Dubai. Okay, so for this package, instead of it being our normal price points, we've taken it right down for you, and we're doing it at a lower price point at 19,000 sterling, 26,000 USD. And as I said, the luxury immersive opportunity, we are including all the food, all the drink, all the coaching, all the experiences, the firewalks, and everything else that we do in that. But you need to get yourself on a plane, because you all come from different parts of the world, and I'm not including that. During the program, if you decide that you want to come and join us and you take advantage over the next 24 hours, you get an extra in-person session with myself. You get to come to the immersive the day before and have a private dinner with me and the speakers. And you also, for those of you who need it, get to have an AI audit for your business that will be done by one of our global experts. To be eligible, you'll have a £500 deposit to pay, but that is refundable, because if when we meet with you or talk to you, we don't think it's for you, we will obviously give back the money. And you'll have a completion of an application and some one-to-one time with me or the team. Pinnacle leadership model is about you as a human first, so you can be the best version of you in your company. In a world of intelligent machines, your greatest advantage is your humanity, your clarity, your heart, and your authenticity. I want you all to lead from the inside out and to know that you are worthy and valued and that you make a difference. Thank you for your time today. I appreciate all of you.